Welcome back to the Reading Room Success Stories. I'm Joyce, and today we're continuing with Terry Savelle's book, Pep Talk, Chapter 1. Chapter 1, do you even know what you're saying? Proverbs 21, verse 23 says, whoever guards his mouth and tongue keeps his soul or life from troubles. Words. When was the last time you read an entire book focused on your words? Probably never. In fact, research shows that 2,000 words account for 95% of the vocabulary used in daily conversations, proving that you don't need to know tens of thousands of words to be an English communicator. It's not how many words you use, it's how you use them. Apparently, women use more words than men, 13,000 words more per day to be exact. Shocking, I know. Girls learn to speak earlier and more quickly than boys, speaking about 20,000 words per day, with guys speaking approximately 7,000. Scientists believe this because higher levels of the protein FOXP2, known as the language protein, are found in the female brain. You just thought girls had the gift of gab, and now we can silence men with science. Think about the most popular word on the planet, okay? That's it, okay. Apparently, it's the most frequently spoken or typed word across the globe in all languages over the world, according to Alan Metcalf, the author of Okay, the Improbable Story of America's Greatest Word. Okay is used to imply all right or acceptable no matter what language you speak. However, what is not okay is that language experts do not agree about where the word came from. Some say it was derived from a railroad worker named Obadiah Kelly, who would put the first letters of his names, O and K, on each object people gave him to send on the train. It was a stamp of approval. Others say a political organization invented the word when Martin Van Buren was running for president in 1840. They called their group the OK Club, taken from the town where he was born, Old Kinderhook, New York. Experts do not agree with its origin, but they do agree that the word is purely American and is spread to almost every country on earth. You probably use tons of expressions and slang phrases every day that you never think about. Some of them don't even make sense. They just catch on. Growing up in Fort Worth, Texas, we have our own Southern language. I think I just made up a word, Terry says. If you're from this neck of the woods, I reckon you're fixing to read some familiar phrases. We use y'all to replace you all or you guys. We use fixing to in place of about to. We say right quick instead of quickly. Okay, this ain't my first rodeo. I do my best not to sound too Texan when I speak publicly, she says. My point is we tend to grow up speaking certain words and phrases simply because of the environment we live in. What about common cliches? Let's not beat around the bush. We've been saying these phrases without a hill of beans as to what in the world they mean. But we'll say them until the cows come home. How many cliches can I put in one paragraph? For example, to bite the bullet meant meaning to knuckle down and do something you really don't want to do, was a phrase derived in surgical procedures before the use of anesthesia. Surgeons would operate on wounded soldiers, giving them a bullet to bite in order to distract them from the pain. Ooh. Cat got your tongue? This is used when someone is silent on the matter, but do you know where its disgusting origin came from? It stems from Middle Eastern punishment when liars' tongues were ripped out of their mouths and fed to the king's cats. Ew. Spilling the beans means to tell a secret. This originated from ancient Greek voting practices when black and white beans were used to represent yes or no decisions on the issues addressed. Voters would put one colored bean into the pot, and the results were revealed by spilling the beans. Butter someone up means to impress someone with flattery. This stems from a customary religious act in ancient India when the devout would literally throw butterballs at the statues of the gods to seek forgiveness and favor. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater means don't get rid of the valuable things along with the unnecessary ones. This origin is as surprising as it is repulsive. In the early 1500s, people only bathed once a year. Ugh. If that's not filthy enough, families who also bathe in the same bath water without changing it. The adult men would bathe first, then the women, finishing off with the children and then the babies to go last. Now that's the exact backwards order that it should have gone in. By the time the babies were bathed, the water was clouded with dirt, scum, and filth. Mothers had to take extra care that their babies were not thrown out with the bath water. Give them the cold shoulder means to be slightly rude or antisocial towards someone. This medieval English custom was used to give a guest a cold piece of meat from the shoulder of the pork or beef when the host felt it was time for the guest to leave. It was a subtle way of saying it's time to go. If you grew up in the Sesame Street generation, you might remember one of the Muppet characters using the magical phrase abracadabra. This would appear. Things would appear. I recently learned this word had its origin in the Aramaic language, meaning what I speak is what I create. How true it is. My point in sharing these familiar catchphrases, idioms, and even childish terms is that we say things all the time without realizing what their meaning, their origin, or even their impact is on our lives. Proverbs 18:7 says, "A fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are the snare of his soul." Just as ridiculous cliches are that we say for years, having no idea what they literally mean, the same is true with negative statements. How many times have you caught yourself saying things such as, "You're killing me. I would die for that. I died laughing. That makes me sick. I'd have a heart attack if I ever did that. That totally blows my mind." Okay, I'm not trying to get too nitpicky over everything you say, but I do want you to pay attention to your words and phrases that don't benefit you. In fact, if your words aren't taking you closer to your dreams, then they could be taking you away from them. Think of these negative, demoralizing statements often heard. "I can never afford something like that. That's too expensive for me. I never get any good breaks. I'm just unlucky. I can't lose weight no matter what I try. I can never make that much money. I'd never get that job. I could never live in a house like that." Stop all those "I could never" statements from coming out of your mouth. You are limiting yourself by your vocabulary. Your words are keeping you locked in the very circumstances you want out of. And many times it's simply a result of our environment. We get accustomed to our friends and relatives talking a certain way. Without thinking of it, we chime right in. "Yep, the economy is getting worse and worse. I'll probably get laid off." I'm sure you've heard of the Miranda rights, which include the statement, anything you say can and will be used against you. It's true. If you don't want your words to materialize, don't speak them. They really will be held against you. Like white on rice. Let me illustrate a very famous experiment on the power of words performed by Dr. Masaru Emoto using water over cooked rice. Dr. Emoto used 3 different containers with 3 different labels for each. He filled each container with cooked rice and then labeled them, "Thank you," "You're an idiot," and left one unlabeled. Every day for 1 solid month, Dr. Emoto would speak to the container based on the labels. He spoke pleasant, affirming words to the rice labeled "Thank you." He yelled harsh, demeaning words to the "You're an idiot" jar. In the 3rd jar, he simply ignored altogether. After 30 days of consistent treatment, the "Thank you" rice began to ferment, looking appealing and giving off a strong, pleasant aroma. The "You're an idiot" rice turned mostly black and mushy, giving off a sour milk aroma. And the neglected rice simply began to rot and mold, turning a disgusting greenish blue color. Since then, other scientists, college students, and even homeschoolers have duplicated this experiment and witnessed the same and similar results, proving how powerful your words are in producing the outcome in your life. I did that with my kids. We did the rice, and I didn't really want to talk ugly to the one rice, so I just neglected one and spoke kind words to the other one. And just like they said, the one that you neglected just got moldy and mushy and yucky, and the one that you spoke to stayed, not fresh, but it had a pleasant aroma and a pleasant look. Words are carriers of life or death. If rice can be affected by positive and negative words as well as total neglect, then how much more can your circumstances be dramatically affected by the same? Words are vehicles taking you closer to or further from your dreams. My question for you is this: are your words limiting you, or are they promoting you? Are your words demoralizing and destructive, or are they courageous and constructive? Is this a bunch of baloney? Bologna or bologna is the kind of sausage made from innards or lowly scraps of meat cuts. It's developed into a slang phrase, "a bunch of baloney," to imply nonsense. When you first start studying the importance of your words, making affirmations work, and changing your internal dialogue, you will probably encounter skeptics who unashamedly warn you that it's a bunch of baloney and nonsense. The internet is filled with claims of people insisting that they have never gotten any results they hoped for by making positive affirmations. You may even encounter friends who assure you, "I tried that, it doesn't work." Some may say, "That works for some people, but not for me, I'm just unlucky." Some will proclaim, "It's a waste of time, it won't work." There's one thing these people don't understand: it is working. They are using affirmations and getting exactly what they're affirming and declaring. They're just using them negatively. Why not use your words to help you rather than hinder you? Your words can literally guide you to your heart's desires, dreams, and goals. You are here. If you spend much time at the local shopping mall, but are directionally challenged, okay, I'm describing myself, you'll notice it's several directory signs placed throughout the mall, mapping the various locations. In order to pinpoint your present location, there's typically a star or a big circle with the words, "You are here." Once you locate your current spot on the map, the next step is to identify the destination you want to reach. Then you simply follow the steps outlined on the map. This book is a directory, so to speak. I want you to identify where you are in life. Is your body out of shape? Are your finances a big mess? Is your marriage failing? Is your career non-existent or miserable? Is your dream somewhere off in space, not even close to being a reality? then you need to seriously locate where you are today. Next, pinpoint your desired destination. Proverbs 29:18 says, "For there is no vision, the people perish." If you don't have a vision, you're dying. Plain and simple. You must identify the vision or destination you want to reach. If your vision is to reach a financial goal, then you need to be very specific about it. We are instructed in Habakkuk 2:2 to write the vision plainly on paper. I'm a stickler for having dreams and goals in writing. Vague goals produce vague results. It's not enough to only say, I'm believing for financial increase. That's no different than looking at the mall directory and saying, I want to go to women's fashions. No, you're crystal clear on which women's fashion store you want to browse. Equally, you need to be laser focused and crystal clear on your financial destination. For example, I'm saving $10,000 this year. In order to start putting one foot in front of the other and taking steps to reach this destination, you begin by speaking it out. Romans 4:17 says, to speak of non-existent things as if they already exist. Amplified Class. You're practicing God's word each time you speak it out. Yes, you may feel like a nut the first time or two you do this, but you already sound like a nut saying, cat got your tongue, and you don't even know what you're really saying. The difference is now your words are acting as a tool, a vehicle to get you closer to your dreams. Why wouldn't you choose to feel like a nut in the privacy of your own home? Trust me, this nut gets results and you will too. Go, Terry. Proactively go after your dreams with the words of your mouth. Let your words move you towards what you want, not what you don't want. Change your words, change your world. There's a story that's gone viral on YouTube about a blind man sitting on the pavement in front of a government building. He has a homemade sign that says, I'm blind, please help me. Most people hastily pass by the man without much notice. He receives a few measly donations. Then a young professional lady stops in front of him and reads his sign. With worn hands, the blind man feels her shoes to get an idea of who is standing in front of him. She bends down, picks up his sign, flips it over, and begins to write. Afterwards, she places the sign back in its place and leaves. I'm sorry, my screen did something that kind of threw me out there. Afterwards, then something remarkable happens. People stop to read the sign and they begin to make considerable donations. At the end of the day, the young professional returns. When she approaches the man, he reaches out and recognizes the feel of her shoes and then asks, Miss, please tell me, what did you write on my sign? She says, I wrote the same thing, I just used different words. The camera then zooms in on the blind man's sign that reads, it's a beautiful day, but I can't see it. The video ends with a powerful declaration, change your words, change your world. Just as a simple change of words changed the blind man's outcome, the same will happen for you. Remember Proverbs 18:7. A fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are a snare of his soul. That concludes chapter 1. I hope you enjoy it, and join me again for the Reading Room Success Stories. This is Joyce. Bye-bye.